I am taking a little stroll right now in the evening heat. The delicious June evening heat here in the Low Country, to talk about the movie Disclosure Day. I was excited to see this movie. I was not excited to see this movie because I necessarily thought it was going to be good. And I definitely wasn't excited to see it because I thought it would reveal something that was necessarily true. It just seemed like it would be something to interpret, as far as what does this mean? How does this fit into this whole scheme of alien disclosure that's now mainstream? That now mainstream politicians are talking about alien disclosure, which was not the case, even a fairly short time ago. Does that mean that aliens are real? No, because the government says so. That's the worst reason to think that they're real. But I, like a lot of you, I have questions, and I'm interested in what's really going on. I know a lot of you seem to be pretty settled on the whole aliens are just demons thing. I've covered that in a prior video. I don't understand why aliens have to be demons. I don't understand why there can't be both demons and aliens. It seems like the aliens are just demons bros thing that everybody's believing. Everybody in the in the conspiracy world, which I include myself to be a part of. I'm not putting it down by calling it that, but everybody in in the we don't believe the official story. We're skeptics of the official story crowd. It seems like the recent thing is, well, there's been a bunch of recent things. There's flat Earth. There's Tartaria. There's the Titanic went down as an inside job to kill off the people that wouldn't sign on with the Federal Reserve. And it's not like I'm not a flat earther. I don't know about the Tartaria stuff. But I don't know. These things could be true, and the Titanic thing could be true too. The Titanic conspiracy thing could be true too. It's just when suddenly, out of seemingly nowhere, this whole idea starts getting buzzed about, and then suddenly everybody's talking about it, and suddenly everybody's believing it. I try not to just jump on a bandwagon like that. The whole Helen Keller was never a real thing. Now that's another one of these new things. I don't know if that's. It seems like people actually believe that, and maybe they're right. I haven't looked at it that closely, but it's just another one of those things where it's just suddenly everybody in conspiracy world is saying this now, and I don't understand. Well, I mean, pertinent to the alien question, I don't understand why aliens must be demons, and why aliens can't really exist alongside, why other species can't exist, other sentient species can't exist in the universe alongside humanity. I don't understand that. I'm a believing, practicing Catholic. I don't understand, and I'm Orthodox, and I would even call myself conservative in my beliefs, but I've never understood that one. So anyhow, I was excited to see this movie just because whatever is going on with this disclosure, this alien disclosure business. Whatever is really happening, what you talk about, suddenly starting to give credibility to something that you never gave credibility to before. I was talking about conspiracy theorists just now, and all of the new bandwagons that they've jumped on in the last few years, that I'm a little bit more loath to just jump on those bandwagons just because it's new and it's what everybody believes now. By everybody, of course, I mean in quotes. I'm sorry if this offends y'all, but I'm gonna put my t-shirt over my head because bugs are bugging me. All right, hopefully this will keep the bugs away a little bit more. Keep them out of my eyes, anyway, out of my ears. So I again, Spielberg, obviously somebody at a high level in Hollywood. Lots of stuff has been said about Spielberg. A lot of things alleged about Spielberg. I'm not going to get any more detailed about it than that, but y'all all know what I'm referring to there. I have to say, I think he definitely has his moments as a movie director. As a young man, I loved the Indiana Jones movies. They were a big part of my formation my boyhood, the formation of my boyhood imagination and my identity as how I imagined living in a good, fun, adventuresome life was heavily informed by the Indiana Jones movies. And he's done some good things in the past. He's also done some crappy things. But I mean, he's capable of greatness. I think it's fair to say, even if he's overrated. And now he's getting up there. This might, I don't know if this is going to be his last movie, but it's going to be, it's certainly closer. He's certainly closer to his last movie than his first movie. So we got a guy who's up there in the high part of the echelon. This is somebody who hangs out with presidents and ex-presidents and powerful people. And he's making a movie about about alien disclosure at the same time that the government is talking about alien disclosure. So you wonder what's really going on. That's why I was really excited to see this, because I wanted to know I wanted to see what this movie was going to be trying to tell me, not just me, but the whole audience, what kind of messages it was attempting to convey, the aliens, and how it fit with, the talk of alien disclosure that's going on right now, in mainstream news, mainstream politics. Again, there's been a marked shift in the way that aliens are being talked about or being referred to. It's no longer a crazy kooky thing. It's now something that they're pretty much admitting or pretending to admit is real. Whether that means they're really real or not, I don't know. So when I've got to say, I watched the movie and I was pretty entertained, pretty riveted from start to finish. Now sometimes a movie grabs my attention and I watch it from beginning to end, and nothing really. I don't have any problem with it along the way, but afterwards I think to myself, oh yeah, that wasn't really too great. That didn't really make a whole lot of sense. And that's been rather sort of the case with this movie. When when the movie was over, I had been entertained for the prior 2 hours and 15 minutes, 2 hours and 20 minutes. It's a longish movie. Didn't feel long, except for one time. There's one heavily expository scene, but there's a lot of really. This is a good action movie. There's a lot of nice chase scenes. Cars driving off-road, and people shooting guns, and there's a scene there's a set piece with a train, and a car that's stuck on the track that's being pulled along by the train, while one of the bad guys is shooting at the two main heroes of the movie, which I would put up there among, it's just definitely better than fair to middling action fare. There are also some interesting scenes which seem to reference. I'm not sure what it would be. It's like some kind of. It's almost, at first I thought this is remote viewing. This is an instance of remote viewing, but it's not really remote viewing. It's something where the bad guy, the main. I just heard something in the bush there. Sorry about that. I guess it was just a squirrel or whatever critter. But anyway, so there's this doohickey that for some reason these people, these high level people have, which I don't know what the doohickey is. I don't know where it comes from. I don't think it's ever explained. Is it part of the whole alien? Is it? Eventually it gets revealed that we've had access to alien technology, and we've reverse engineered a lot of it and used it for our own purposes. Is the doohickey that? I don't know. What it is just a little. It looks like the hilt of a gun. Just a little thing, kind of like that long. Looks like it's made of metal or something similar to metal. And you hold on to it, you grip it, and this one guy, the bad guy, played by Colin Firth, the bad guy has the power to get inside the body of one of the other characters. And it's the girl who's accompanying one of the heroes, his girlfriend, who's an ex-nun. And there's a whole weird backstory there with her, which at the time I was just sort of running with, but afterwards I was sort of like, what? But anyway, this is a cool scene. It's riveting. It's suspenseful. It's eerie, because we see the bad guy, taking over her body, and then her eyes, she has blue eyes. His eyes, where he is, become blue. Her eyes become brown, which is his eye color. And so, and he's moving within her body, trying to get her to sabotage, to kill this one guy that they want killed. This guy who's gonna spill the beans on the truth about aliens. And it's a well done scene, and it kind of mimics possession. In fact, I would say possession is there's sort of a possession theme in this movie. The character played by Emily Blunt, who's, I guess, sort of the main character. There's two main characters, but she's the really main character. She at some point gets taken over by this outside force. Now it doesn't control what she does, so it's not quite like making her a puppet on a string, like the guys, like the Colin Firth character is trying to do to the other girl. But it does have the effect where she can suddenly speak all these different languages. She can look at people and see what's going on in their lives. And she sort of is able to use the force in an Obi-Wan kind of way where, she's speeding and a cop's going to give her a ticket, and then she starts reading his mind and telling him, it's okay. I know you're feeling angry right now, but your wife didn't really mean it when she told you those things. She's just having a bad day, and blah blah, and being very specific about everything, to the point where the cop who's about to give her a ticket just sort of stands there, his mouth agape, because she's completely read his mind and he has no idea how it happened. And so she just drives away. And there's some other scenes like that, which are amusing. But she can speak other languages, and she can also speak the alien language. So that's what you see if you've seen the preview of her standing up, being the weather girl, and suddenly the words that come out of her mouth are just these clicking noises. That's what's happening at that moment. So yeah, there's some interest. There's some interesting scenes. There's some scenes that are riveting to watch. There's a lot of good suspense. There's some good chase scenes. Now, when you get right down to it, this is a movie that is an important movie. It has something important to say, and I think as far as that goes, I was rolling with there's a lot of really big plot holes, but I was rolling with it through it all. Like I said, as the movie was going on, I was right there with it. But I thought about it later and watched a few reviews, and then I thought to myself, yeah, that's a problem. Now I would recommend y'all watch Jonathan Pageau's review, because he's the one who pointed out a couple of real problems, not just logistically, not just plot hole wise, but a couple of, shall we say, philosophical or aesthetically problematic kind of moments in this movie. And I'm just going to, I wouldn't, these, I maybe would have thought of these on my own, but Pageau took me there, and so I'm giving him credit for this, but I'm just going to repeat a couple of things, the things that he said that stood out to me. Okay. First of all, I'll just start with a credibility problem that the movie has. The movie ends with this great disclosure taking place on a local news television station in Kansas City. But everybody else patches in because the news is so significant. And what it is there's all this footage of aliens, this secret footage of alien stuff that's never been shown before. There's Richard Nixon meeting an alien. There's these aliens in an operation room that are either being operated on or tortured, or they're treated badly in some way. And they're like, alien corpses at crash sites, known crash sites like Roswell and Kecksburg, Pennsylvania, and on, and so on and so forth. Now I'm realizing there's a couple things to this. Okay, one of which I got from Pajot, and one of which I got from elsewhere, and kind of my own thoughts too. But as Pajot points out, there's something. He says that there's something kind of boomerish about having having the disclosure take place on television. And he's right. Like anybody watches, news television. Like, oh boy, here's some little news station in Kansas City. But let's patch through from all over the world. Look, CNN is broadcasting this. Oh my gosh, CNN, all the people who watch CNN and ABC and CBS, and they kind of grudgingly include Fox News. And yeah, all these dinosaur places, like nobody gets there, like nobody but really old people watch this kind of stuff. I mean, television it's not a dead medium totally, but it's not what it was in the 80s. And that the ending, I mean, would have been incredible if it had been the 80s or earlier than that, even the 70s or 60s really, especially when everybody was glued to their televisions, and millions of people were watching any given show at any given time, and there were just 3 networks and so forth and so on. But to have this big revelation to humanity come out on the news, it's just silly, and it's outdated. And I think that Spielberg should be smart enough or aware enough to know that. So part of me wonders if there might be a piece that I'm missing there, but if he might be up to something with that I'm just not aware of. But I don't know. It just doesn't. It's not readily apparent to me at this point, anyway. And the other thing is, like they're showing what are supposed to be all of these shocking scenes of alien beings, like little grays mostly, and people are around the world are watching this and they're like, oh my gosh, this is all real. The aliens are real. And if people were really watching this footage, they would have no reason to think this footage was authentic. They try to kind of cover their bases with that. Like there's one point where the producer says, yeah, but is this AI? And then somebody else says, no, it's not. We checked, and it's not AI. It doesn't fit. Is there a way to check for if something is AI or not? And just say, oh, nope, not AI, not AI. Can AI be sussed out that easily? I don't know, but anyway. The point is people are around the world riveted, watching these scenes. And these are things that we've all seen before. We've all seen supposed footage. It's just like if you see that picture of Bigfoot, striding along, which is probably a man in a Bigfoot costume. You don't look at that and think, oh, well, Bigfoot's real. You think probably somebody dressed up like Bigfoot. And, and this is just them. Or the supposed picture of the Loch Ness Monster. Same thing. Like photography and video footage, grainy footage from the 50s, from the 40s. That's not gonna shake anybody up. But there's some female broadcaster who's responding to all of this, saying, "Oh my gosh, this is just those of you out there know, please watching this, please know that you're not alone. You know, it's just really dumb. It doesn't work. Okay. Now, as far as like esoteric stuff, like whether you know, which, I mean, I think that, you know, Spielberg is, like I said, a high level person. He probably knows secrets. He's probably a part of some you know, exclusive clubs, if you know what I'm saying. So, you know, is this movie saying anything esoterically? Now, this is where Pageau, I think, really shines, because the other point he makes is there's this whole, like, the ultimately what it comes down to is the two main characters, this guy who's got all this footage and wants to expose it to the world, and this woman, the weather girl lady. What comes out is that these two people had both had alien encounters when they were young, and the aliens imbued them with the capacity to receive this kind of knowledge later on. And what we see is a reenactment of a scene. So this one kind of rogue group led by this one guy, this kindly black man. I should know the actor's name, but I don't. But you know, he's somebody you've seen before and stuff. So he's like the Colin Firth. The Colin Firth is that we've got to keep this information from going public, because if people find out about this stuff, it'll be chaos. And then this black guy, this kindly older black guy, is saying, no, we got to tell the world, because they have a right to know this stuff, and because the aliens, you know, have good messages to impart. And are you ready for what the big reveal is? What the aliens we should do? The aliens say we should have empathy. Yeah. We should have empathy. Yeah. I mean, can you get any more boring than that, right? Can you get any more trite than that? Oh, empathy is good. Is that first of all, yeah, empathy is good. Is it the only good? Is it the key to becoming a higher species, you know, to ascending to a higher level? That just seems like, I would say, even at the time, I didn't actually roll my eyes, but I could have when the empathy line gets rolled out. But a worse problem than that is they've got this whole thing set up so that Emily Blunt's character can relive her alien abduction experience, which has been traumatic for her. Now why they want her to relive that trauma, you know, is which she experienced as a child, is a little uncomfortable. Like, why would that be a good thing? To be traumatized, to be re-traumatized. What was traumatic about it in the first place to her that made her not want to remember it? And I guess made the guy also traumatized, although we don't hear as much about him, about his alien experience. But they both experienced these aliens at a young age, and the way it's portrayed in the movie